Hey everybody, we are back on day 29 of Mass Make March 2023. Little monthly challenge hosted by Cindy on Studio Lou. I encourage you to find her, like her, subscribe to her, all that good stuff. And of course the same for me. Like me, subscribe to me, all that good stuff. So today's challenge is stamped elements. I am going to, I've still got this stack of painting papers, and I still want to use them. And I think what I want to do with them is make journal cards out of them and stamp onto them. I think that's my current plan. So I'm going to start by breaking these down into journal card sizes. The weirdest thing, I'm missing my other, oh, there it is. So I'm missing my other. Let's see which one's sharper. They're both kind of blah. Let me get a sharp blade on it. Okay. We got a fresh blade. I've been saying I wanted to use these, and so now I'm gonna finally use them. I'm gonna break them all down into journal card sizes real quick, and then we'll play around with stamping them. That's my plan anyways. So at first you'll get to see me chop a bunch of these up. And then we'll play around with stamps. I have a whole box of wood stamps, and I rarely use them. I love them, but I rarely use them, and I don't know why. I think it's because they're so cumbersome. You have to get the stamp out, you have to get the ink out, you have to, you know, they're a lot of work for, I'm not going to say little result, but maximum effort, minimal result, I guess, is part of the problem with me with that. And, you know, if you don't use them often, then your ink dries up and all that good stuff. So it's just I don't know. I'm just rambling. Like I said, I like using stamps. I just rarely do. I should use them more, really. So these are kind of, I'm going to trim this dark brown off of here. Just kind of going with some generic sizes. I'm not trying to measure out 4x6 or 5x7 or anything like that. I'm just kind of trying to go with some evenish cards. And I may or may not accomplish that goal. And some of these are kind of already broken down, but I'm going to break them down a little bit more. See what we can come up with. I don't have a lot of the, I don't know what kind of, the ones that you use with the acrylic block. I don't have a lot of those stamps. Most of mine are the wood block. But I do have some that we can play with. I do have some. And I apologize. Firstly, the weather is beautiful here, and so I've got my doors and windows open. So you may be hearing some neighbor ruckus. Not as much ruckus as the other night, but you may be hearing people talking and cars, doors slamming and all that. That's not me, obviously. It's my neighbors, so. Like I said, the weather is so nice here. We're expecting storms on Friday. But today, it's beautiful and sunny, and the pollen is doing its thing, and everything is covered in yellow pollen. So, good old springtime Arkansas. So I watched my video from last night with day 28, which is the technically the hole reinforcers, but I didn't technically do hole reinforcers. I did attempt at the end of the video, but I did pockets, and man, I was all over the place. I do apologize. Again, I think that's the creative process in action. You know, sometimes it's not pretty. That's all I know to say. Sometimes it's all over the place. Sometimes it is all over the place. I think that's what I'll experience when that's the kind of result when I'm not in my creative flow, and I struggle to make something or be creative or whatever. And usually when I'm in that space, I step away, because most oftentimes when I'm in that space, I create something that I don't like. And I know, I think it's, who is it, Neil Gaiman maybe says, make bad art. And when I'm not in a flow, I do that quite easily. So, I apologize for last night's video. I was struggling. Was not on the creative bus at all. I was struggling. Not quite sure where I was, but I wasn't where I needed to be. I think, like I said, I was hung up about the spending my time and resources making journal stuff that I wasn't ever sure I was going to ever use, which of course I'm doing that again tonight, but I'm not hung up about it. Yesterday I was pretty excited about this world traveling order that I got. I just was pretty stoked about it. And so I was all in my head about that. And I was feeling creative, but I wanted to be creative on that journal. And it was a bit of a hang up that I don't have my book for it yet. I've ordered it off of eBay. And it's on the way, but you know, it's hard for me to create without having the base slash book, you know, my main idea of what I'm doing. It's kind of hard for me to get in the zone that I need to be in. So that's kind of where I was last night. Had all these ideas for this travel journal, but I didn't have my book and I couldn't really work with it. So I was struggling. So if you hung in through the whole video, I appreciate it. You hanging in there with that crazy creative process going on here. I think this is kind of skinny. I think we're going to try to work with it anyways. Waste not, want not, right? Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what they say, dear? Okay. Oh boy. Now I gotta decide if I want to round corners on these. Probably. Probably so. That's what I do. Only problem is this is that thick painted paper, so I don't know. My corner rounder might not cooperate with that plan. Okay. We'll just see what happens when we get to that point. Like I said, this is kind of boring. I know I should have prepared a little bit. But I'm just kind of, like I said, cutting these down, breaking them down to journal card sizes. And then we'll play with stamps. It'd be interesting to play with stamps on these darker ones to see. I'm just going to use, I've got a couple of different options for ink, but I think I'm just going to use my plain black. Just go with plain black. Since I have so much, I'll have so much color on the background with these cards. I'll just go with the black sampler. Almost getting through it. We're down to a couple more pieces. I said in my very first video that I wanted to make stuff with these paint pages. And I've tried to kind of in the back of my brain incorporate them in all of these prompts, but it just hasn't worked out. So here we are at the end of the month, and I'm trying to make something with them. Trying to finally make it happen. Mainly because they're so big and clunky and they take up a lot of room in my scrap bucket. And they're so pretty. They just have so much potential. So I want to use them. Okay. So I'm trying to find a challenge for March. Mainly because I've enjoyed this month-long challenge. It has been a challenge. Some days have been like, whew, what am I doing? And some days it's been late at night tackling the prompts, but I've enjoyed it even still. And March is almost over. We've just got a couple more days. And so I'm kind of searching for something to do for April. If anybody has any suggestions, I am open to them. Now this is another page. Well, maybe not. It's like, yeah, it does have some sticky stuff on it. Okay. I assume this is like, what is that called? My brain just went dead. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. That sticky stuff that you use in watercoloring that you put on here. Oh, I can't think of what it is. It's like a resist. Here's another spot of that, so I might cut around that as well. I can't think of what it's called though. It's got a weird name. Oh, I'll think of it at midnight when I'm laying in bed trying to sleep. Some sort of resist. Watercolor people who do watercolor paintings use it. They'll put it down on their paper and you can watercolor over it. It's like almost like a rubber cement type stuff. And then when your painting is done and dry, you can like rub it off and you have white. You have the white of your paper. Or, I mean, I guess you could do it over a color if you wanted to maintain that color underneath. But I'll think of it, whatever it is. But I think that's what's remaining on these old paintings is some of that resist stuff. And it's kind of like it's trying to dry rot and be all weird and sticky. So we're not going to use those pages. If we were limited on our supply of cool papers, we would try to work with it, but we have plenty to work with. So we're just going to work with, trim those off and work with what we can. That's really going to bug me what that name of that stuff is. Thought I felt some more of it on here, but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I guess it'll just depend on what stamps I find to use as to whether or not I'll know where I'm going to use these journal cards. They may just go in my bucket that is my ephemera stash. Since I've been doing this, I have an ephemera stash now. It's not very big, and I've actually used quite a bit out of it for some other journals that I've worked on here and there. So I've used a little bit out of it already, but you like how I did that math? Trying to find my middle. I don't know that I did, but close enough. Close enough. Okay, last one. And I think I'm just going to try to grab this blue. And this pink. Like I said, these will make pretty decent journal cards because the backs of them are, for the most part, white-ish. They've got some aged patina, you know, because they're old. But they don't fare well to bend. They're not dry rotted or anything. They're just so thick. And they're old. So they don't do well to bend really well, but they fare nicely for cards, I think. Okay. Oh, I was like, there was one more, I thought. Let's just line this up. I'm going to keep this little green space, little piece. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but sitting right there, and I'm going to go through those scraps because some of them could be useful. Last one we're cutting. And we'll get into the stamping. That's what this is all about anyways, right? This may make me realize, A, I really don't have any good stamps, or B, I have a lot of cool stamps that I need to be using. One of those two things are going to happen as we get to digging through my bucket. Okay, all of this chopping is done. We have a pretty good little stack, and I'm not going to go through my scraps right now, but I'm going to get these few that are trying to escape from the scrap pile out of my way. I'll set it over there. We're not going to do any glue, so we can set those over there on my glue thing. Okay, get our little stampy stamp out. And see what we have. I would like to do some focal points, but majority of my stamps, I will say, are not focal points. accents. And I say accents. I don't know where to begin. They're accents, like they're just designs. They're not focal points. I do have some, but most of them are accents, like backgrounds, things like that. So, and I don't know on this rough paper how well we're gonna stamp. And if you watch Cindy's video today, I'm like her. I'm not following all the rules. You know, you're not supposed to rock, and you're supposed to hold for so many minutes, and there's apparently rules and regulations as to how you stamp. But we're not doing that. We are just playing with stamps and seeing what happens. Playing with stamps and seeing what happens. This was a Hobby Lobby clearance that I just recently got. And I'm pointing, when I come across those in something that I'm using and I recognize it and all that, I point it out because somebody mentioned to me a while back, it's like, oh, I really want to see what you do with all that stuff. Because they had watched my Hobby Lobby haul video. And they said, I can't wait to see what you do. And so, just letting you know how I use this stuff. That's kind of cool. I don't think it went all the way down because of the way that this paper is so rough. At least that's what I'm going to say it is. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's kind of cool. What color are we doing here now? I am of the opinion that wood block stamps are supremely expensive. Never will I ever pay full price for them. I find them at thrift stores and things like that for super cheap. Because I just can't fathom paying big money for them. I don't know why. I just don't. You know what? I said I didn't need my glue book. Ouch. But I'm thinking maybe we will, because I'm thinking I want to kind of do this. Maybe we'll do a bunch of random ones. That's kind of cool. Let's see here. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of focal points to play with. This is another one of my Hobby Lobby clearances for those who are interested. It's a butterfly made of butterflies. And that one's pretty. I'm kind of trying to, the cards that are matching per se, kind of trying to keep them together and do the same thing on them, so they can be used, you know, for a cohesiveness in the journal. Get you up here in frame. Going back to the cool flower. Actually, since this is green, we'll use a leaf. I don't know how well these spongy ones work. I guess we'll see, huh? Oh, that's cool. That worked out really cool. Nice. Real nice. I may do them all with these leaves. You know, I have a thing for nature and leaves and all that. So they may all get a leaf. I have some more that are rose and a flower. They're awfully big though, so nice. Okay. I do like that. Let's see if there's any more that will work for this. I'm just going to kind of go with what's left on this stamp. I don't expect it to be very dark. Whoa! It's like very dark. You can see I've got some where I've rocked my stamp, but that's okay. I don't really care about that. I'm not messed up about it. I like that big bold leaf on it though. I'll try not to press down on that section. Is that not pretty? That's so pretty. And I have plenty of these, so I can do a bunch of leaves. Okay, this one's big, so I'm going to try to do the whole thing. Try to get the big old whole leaf in it. Stem and all, we'll see. We'll see. Uh-oh, it flipped up, so it may be off, but we'll see. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Let me see if there's any more that have like a green in them that we think might need another. I'll put this up. I'll use this one right here, and then we'll set him aside and play with something else. But goodness, that's so pretty. Okay, I'm setting him aside. Setting him aside. Let's play with this guy. He's kind of big for my hand to handle. Let's try to do this. Try to get 2 in 1. Nice. Yep. Okay, so I like the spongy ones. I like the big spongy ones. They're foam. They make a bold pattern, bold print, for sure. Nice. Okay. I don't know that I have much ink left on that, but look at that. That's so cool. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited. What do we got going on here? I also have an arrow. It's the foamy and the little filigree. And then the rose. Nice. Real nice. I'm gonna play with the rose a little bit. Fair is fair. Got to give them all a chance, right? Let's see here if we can put... Yeah, the big bold ones are what we need for the dark, because that black will be bold on that, should be bold on that blue, the dark blue part. Nice. I think I want to do a little bit more. I like the rose, but honestly, I like the leaf and the other flower better. Let's play with the arrow on some longer ones. I don't really like that as much. Yep. So I don't want to waste any more with that. Oh, I have a paisley in the foam. Let's see how fun these will be. The paisley in the foam. I don't see these type stamps in the stores anymore. Mostly what you see is the acrylic block ones. These appear to have come from Hobby Lobby. They've got a little sticker on them. But again, I will tell you that MAS right there, let that airplane go by. The MAS is More Art Supplies. That's my store that I had that I closed in 2018. So that tells you how old this is, because this was at my store. So we're using vintage stuff here. I don't really like the paisleys as much either. So let's see what else we have over here. I have my ultimate favorite. Oh, let's play with these. My ultimate favorite stamps are these guys. It's possible I paid full price for these because I love them so much. The handwriting. But they're not a focal point, so it's kind of hard to, I mean, I guess we could stamp with them just to give them background and allow, you know, it would allow for a background for me to do something else. I don't particularly, again, care for the acrylic stamps. I was going to do some of them, but this guy's being so difficult to get off. Again, we're clunky. We have to have the acrylic block, and we have to have the pad of ink, and we have to have the stamp, and it's clunky and stuck on here. And then we gotta stick it onto the acrylic block, and we gotta ink it, and then, you know, all for a little image of a butterfly. Oh, the things we do. It's pretty though. He's a pretty butterfly. For sure. This sheet also has like a flower and a stem and all that to create. But you saw just what I had to do to get the dang butterfly, so we're not gonna go into all those logistics of making a flower. We're down to the last few handfuls of cards, and so we're gonna go back to the flowers and the leaves. Although I might do some of these with the handwriting. Let's see, I could do that one with the handwriting. These are all so dark. That has writing on the back of it. Maybe I'll do these two with the handwriting. Also, the trick with these is they're so big. To get them good and inked, you have to kind of like really work with them. I'm going to try to do both of these at the same time and see what becomes of it. And this one's not as detailed as, see, this one's more detailed with the writing. This one's kind of faint, so yeah. But he's still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. And you know what? Maybe, actually, I wonder if we're going to try this, even though I think that butterfly's pretty. And technically, I'm thinking I would like this butterfly with some writing in the background. I'm wondering if it's going to look like I stamped over it with the writing. We'll see. That's what this is all about, right? Playing and seeing what happens. It may turn out fabulous. And it did. It turned out pretty fabulous. Okay. We're going to do this one too. I just think it's really pretty with the writing on the background and the butterfly. I was afraid it was going to look like we stamped over the butterfly, but it doesn't. It worked out really well. that's pretty. I like it. I like it a lot. But again, I love the handwriting stamps, so there's not much you could do that would deter me from liking it. Yep. We have a weird whale. I was looking to see what else we had in there. I don't particularly like that one as much. Not a fan of the well. And we'll probably go in some Happy Mail somewhere. I mean, he's cool, but but not really. And not too fond of that burr either. Am I a stamp snob? Is there such a thing? Am I being a stamp snob? Like I said, this video will either show me that I have a lot of stamps that I love to use and I need to use them more often, or it'll show me that I got a lot of stamps I need to get rid of. That one's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, back to back to the flower making. I just really like the flower. And the leaf. I like the leaf as well. So pretty. Okay. I have some of these guys. I don't know that they're wood. They're really heavy and they're wood. Part of me feels like I'm not supposed to use them like this. But then part of me says, well, they work. Or they don't. I'm thinking maybe for fabric they might work. I don't know. I've had them for a while. I like them. I think they're pretty. I've got 3 or 4 of them. So I haven't been able to get rid of them because I like them. Let's see what else is in here. Again, most of them are backgrounds, so maybe we'll do some of these guys. I just have 2 more cards to do, so cover up that where I attempted and failed. Okay, well, apparently this is really rough, so here's what we're gonna do. Don't want to play nice, so we're gonna attack it with a leaf. See what happens. Put a big bold leaf in the middle of that, and see if that covers up our mistake. And it did, for the most part. Okay, last one. I guess we'll make it a leaf as well, just because we're right here and we can. And of course I have ABC stamps of all flavors. But majority of what I have are backgrounds and patterns and things like that. So, which are pretty and they're cool, but they're not focal points. So, I wonder if, I'm thinking about it, I have this, I think it's really cool. It's a pen, it's a fountain pen. It only seems to make sense to me that he go on a that's kind of cool. It's a really cool stamp. It's a very detailed stamp. It's one of my favorite stamps, actually. See how detailed it is? That pen. Okay. Okay. Enough of that. Enough of that, Shell. Enough of that. Okay. So, day 29, stamped elements of Mass Make March 2023 is a wrap. We have stamped and made elements, or stamped on our elements, or however that will be. I'm going to leave these not corner rounded for now, and then when I get ready to use them in a journal, I'll let my journal feel decide. So here's what we have. I'll count them as I go along. It's pretty simple, but it lends itself to doing something else to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I really like that one. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Not sure what that's got on it. Maybe we'll trim it off. 16, 16, 16. Remind me I'm at 16. Okay. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I really like that one. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I really like that one. 28, 29, and 30. 30 journal cards with stamps on them. That's a nice little stash to play around with. And, you know, maybe that's the way to do with the stamps. Again, I like them. I like using them. They're just so clunky. And if I'm putting together a journal, it's like, oh, I need a little stamp here. And it's like a big to-do just to do one little stampy stamp. So I don't normally use them. I don't use them as much as I should. So maybe this will encourage me to use them more. If I'm using them in my ephemera stash and I'm seeing them, then I'll be like, ooh, I know I have that stamp in there. So maybe that'll help. So yeah, we are finished with that. Tomorrow is day 30, and it's die cuts, which I don't have a die cut machine, and I don't do die cuts, and I can't do everything. Die cuts is one of those that I just can't do. I like them, I just can't, right now I can't do that. So instead of die cuts, I'm doing day 4 belly bands. Because I use belly bands more so than I use die cuts. So yeah, so tomorrow we'll be back with not die cuts, but belly bands. So anyways, thanks for joining me again. I hope you guys will like and comment and subscribe and do all those YouTube-y following things that you're supposed to do because you like what you see and you're enjoying this. So, and while you're at it, jump over to Studio Lou, to Cindy at Studio Lou, and check out her goodies. She has been massively making mass for March. More so than I could ever imagine. So, so yeah, there we go. I will see you guys tomorrow.